And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to our first ever recurring weekly Ask an Expert cleaning series. We had our first one last week. It was a great trial run. You guys were so enthusiastic and fun to talk to. We decided to make it weekly. So, thank you for your interest. I'm going to be here every week to answer your cleaning questions. Now, you're probably wondering, who the heck am I? As you can probably see on the screen, my name is Melissa Homer, and I am Chief Cleaning Officer of Microfiber Wholesale, and I am a professional cleaning expert. I have worked in the professional cleaning industry for over 20 years. I have consulted some of the biggest names in the industry, working with some of the largest manufacturers and cleaning companies in the business. My longest claim to fame was for over 18 years, was in charge of all chemical supply decisions, procedures, training, and cleaning technical support. So I couldn't say that out loud. Cleaning technical support for MeadPro, one of the largest residential cleaning franchises in North America. They had some over 300 locations, 5,000 maids, 25,000 plus customers that were under my stewardship for over 18 years. So anything that went wrong in the world of cleaning rolled up to me. I tested products. I worked with manufacturers. I made custom chemicals. I supported franchise owners through, oh my God, what do we do to that floor? How do we fix it? Oh gosh, we scratched this fridge. Oh gosh, we accidentally messed up this table. How do we fix it? Those were all my questions cross country. So if you have any cleaning challenge, I've heard it. Probably heard it at least a couple hundred times over the years. It's where all these gray hairs came from. And it was my job to find the best answers possible on how to solve these cleaning problems and clean them fast. Because every day it wasn't fixed, it was costing our franchisees money. So I can answer your questions about anything from cleaning difficult surfaces, cleaning delicate surfaces, what's the safest and fastest way to clean something, questions about, oh gosh, I busted something and I screwed it up while I cleaned it. Can I fix it? Any of those sort of questions, I'm here to serve. So please, if you are on here already, hop on in and start asking questions. I will also shamelessly plug while I'm here that Microfiber Wholesale is excited to offer this service to you guys ongoing because they brought me in full time to be your cleaning consultant in your back pocket long term. I am here to democratize cleaning support. It used to be back in the day that if you were a professional cleaner, you had to be part of a big franchise and have 100K in your pocket to join one of them to get specialized support like me. And that always felt awful to me. I hated to see so many independent cleaners and small companies getting no training, no support, no technical expertise, and winging it on their own, searching online and finding, frankly, tons of misinformation. And when you're working as a small cleaning company, you don't have the money to spare. When things go wrong and you have to fix it yourself and it doesn't go right, you don't have the budget room to have that go wrong. And I always felt awful seeing that going on in the industry. And Microfiber Wholesale handed me the amazing opportunity to take my advice to the world. So I am so excited to finally bring that support to all of you. Oh, it looks like I'm starting to get some questions. So let's go ahead and look in here. Um, how can we clean sticker goo if we don't have Goof Off on hand? Great question. Thank you so much, Alka. Actually, I have some new fun features here I'm enjoying. I can share the question. And it's a great question. So the honest answer is those Goof Off products are important. You can use any soap eventually to get it off, whether you want to use a dish soap or an all-purpose cleaner. But honestly, when it comes to the sticky yuckies of the world, you really do need products like Goo Gone or Goof Off. Well, actually not Goof Off. I wanted to catch that for a moment there. Goo Gone is the one you're probably talking about. Goo Gone and Dissolve It are two competitors in the industry that do the same thing. They have an orange-based solvent that is wonderful at getting all that sticky, yucky goo off of anything, whether it's tree sap or duct tape residue or even gum in your child's hair. Don't ask me how I know that one. The Goo Gone or product or Dissolve It product will take those off for you like that. Any other product you're using is going to take you so much longer. So the answer is never let yourself get in a situation where you don't have it on hand. If there were a short list of products I could tell every mom that they have to keep under their sink at all times, Goo Gone or Dissolve It is like a number one on that list, because every crazy craft thing your kids do ends up being a Goo Gone situation. Pretty much all of the holiday of Christmas is a Goo Gone situation, whether it's dripping tree sap or it's stickers or it's craft projects that are stuck on the table. Goo Gone's your go-to. You can try to use a all-purpose cleaner or a dish soap to do it, but honestly, you really want those products. So, and I should mention, be careful with Goof Off. Goo Gone is completely safe on most washable surfaces. Goo Gone can be used on wood tables, it can be used on countertops, heck, it can be used on human hair. Again, ask me how I know. But Goof Off is actually much more of a paint thinner type of material, and it will take off things like graffiti and other troublesome things you're trying to get rid of, but it's much more potent, and it will damage painted surfaces and damage your hair. So do not get them mixed up, because I know the names are similar, but when you go to the store, make sure it's Goo Gone, not Goof Off, or you will have a sad day. But great question, Alka. Thank you so much. Actually, by the way, everybody, I am excited to say that I have some fun giveaways and prizes and stuff I'm be offering. And Alka, I'm going to catch you at the end of the show for being our first question and first attendee. I get giving out some treats throughout the hour. So please feel free to hit me up in the DMs at the end and make sure you're a subscriber so it's easy for us to find you so I can give you a treat. Let's see here. I got another question coming in. Let me push it over here. How can you get years old or just really heavy grease off of kitchen cabinetry? Wonderful question, Victor. It is hard. So let's talk about the challenge of the grease and the surface you're working against. So grease is everywhere in kitchens. Every time you cook, it's all vaporizing. It's getting on everything. It's getting on the blinds. It's getting on the walls. It's getting on the cabinets. And depending on what surface it gets on, it becomes more or less of a challenge to get it off. If you are dealing with wood cabinetry that's nice, you have to be careful about what you use it on. Okay? Sorry, what you use on it. Degreasers is what you want. When you're dealing with heavy kitchen grease, degreasers is the industry term for what you're trying to use to get the greasy buildup of oils off of that surface. But most degreasers are solvent-based. And solvent-based degreasers, think of solvent as like paint thinner, and you don't want that anywhere near finishes, so you have to be very careful with it. For those kitchen cabinets, one of my favorite degreasers is actually a commercial degreaser. I will show you here. I can push this on the screen, I think. Yes, I can. Great. Dawn Heavy Duty Degreaser. You can get it by the case over at Amazon, or if you go to Staples, you can get it singular. If you're in a cleaning company, you have a commercial supplier, you can get a hold of it. But Dawn Heavy Duty Degreaser is one of the safest degreasers I know. It does a wonderful job, and it can be used on wood so long as you move quickly. You don't want to let it sit there all day, but it will work. If you want a consumer version of that product, the Easy Off Kitchen Degreaser is a wonderful product as well. It is not as potent as the commercial stuff, so if you have access to the Dawn Degreaser commercial, it's the way to go, but the Easy Off Kitchen Degreaser is also surface safe and does a great job, and that should get that off of there for you. But be careful when you're cleaning wood cabinets like that. You want to use it and get it off of there fast and rinse it off fully with an all-purpose cleaner. You don't want to leave that sitting there because, again, it's going to start eating at the finish if you let it sit too long. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see here. I should mention, by the way, if it's really, really, really bad, I can mention one other even harsher product that I'm loath to mention, but I want to mention it just in case you're in a really trapped situation. If you're ever in a situation where you've got years old grease, particularly if you got someone like a smoker where they've got like that creosote tar on the cabinets and it's really built up age old stuff. If you're in that pickle, the thing you want is trisodium phosphate, TSP powder. It's no joke. It takes like a couple tablespoons per gallon. Read the back of the box. Wear your gloves. It's not a joke, but it will take off however neglected a situation you've got. Now, you got to be careful with it. Again, if you're using that for a heavy amount of time on something, you can cause damage. We don't want to do that. But if you're, buying a whole home from someone that's been smoking, cooking grease, and frying in this house for 20 something years, and you're taking over as the new owner, and you want to get this all off, TSP powder is where you want to go. But again, with great power comes great responsibility, so be careful with that one. All right, let's go ahead and answer some more questions. Oh, actually, this is a related question. I didn't even mean to. I have some fireplace soot that's gotten on my white painted drywalls surrounding my fireplace. Any recommendations for getting soot off? The magic eraser isn't doing anything. You are absolutely right, Mara. Um, Magic eraser, I love them. They're amazing. It's a wonderful tool, but it's not going to solve your problem. Soot and creosote from a fireplace, the thing you need is trisodium phosphate powder. That is your go-to. I'll show you the picture again so everyone has it. TSP powder is going to be the thing that takes off creosote and soot and any of that really aged pickup grease. Now, TSP powder is heavy duty stuff. That's gloves and goggle time, but it is extremely effective. So if you want to get that off the drywall, this is what you want to use. This is what professional painters use to prep walls for when they're doing remodels and paintings of older homes. You can go, if you want to gross yourself out, go ahead onto YouTube and type in smoker's home cleanup with TSP powder type words, and you will see contractors out there with paint rollers with this stuff, just rolling it on the walls and just brown water goo pouring down the walls as they do it. It's gross, but amazing and awesome because, again, yay, science. Awesome stuff. Definitely the way you want to go. All right, so let's see here. Clean That Up is here visiting us. Oh, we got a celebrity. Cool. I follow you. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy to have you here. I'm doubting you have any questions because you certainly know what you're doing. But if you happen to have something obscure that you haven't figured out yet, feel free to ask us. So happy to have you here. Forgive me for fangirling everybody. They're wonderful. Oh, I got a hello. It's nice to see you, Melinda. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to say hi. And Drew Blanchard is here saying hello as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. I love all the microfiber wholesale fan base showing up. Let's see. Hoarding World with Angela Brown. How did you do that with a QR code? Oh, I will gladly tell you how. I am in love with my new toy. This is occurring on something called Restream.io. I'm about to give them a full-on commercial right now because I'm in love with the service. So Restream.io, it allows you to stream looking very professional on any platform at once. So if you give them your money and let them set you up, you can on one screen go live and it will feed to YouTube and it will feed to Twitter and it will feed to Instagram. And you can set it up so that you have a bank of all this information. So I've loaded up in here all my favorite products so that I don't have to remember where to links and where to send you. I can just push these on the screen, and anyone that's watching, all you got to do is it'll push it in the comments a link so you can click on it if you want to do it that way. Or if you're watching on your screen, just grab your phone and use your QR scanner and it'll pop you right to where these products are. I'm a big believer in giving out actionable advice you can use right now. So please, by the way, suggestion to everybody, follow us, like us, and share this live. Even if you share privately, if you're not like, oh, I want to share this to the world, I don't even care. But if you share it, you'll be able to find it on your own timeline and be able to come back and find the information. So please make sure that you save this because I'm going to be spitting facts for an hour here. And I intend to share a lot of products, a lot of ideas, a lot of how-tos and how to fix it. And you want to be able to get back to it. And that's why I want to put all those pictures and codes so that as you're learning about stuff, you know exactly what to get so you can fix the problems in your home. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's see here. And again, Restream.io, I wish I got a referral from them, but please use it. It's a wonderful service. I'm loving it. It's making it really fun to do this today. Let's see. I've heard of TSP, but haven't used it yet. Thanks for mentioning it as well. Of course, very careful with it. Thank you. Yes. So TSP powder is really old school, but it hasn't been knocked off of its high horse just yet because it still works. It is again stronger, and using it too much isn't great for the environment because after a certain point, there's a ton of it in the environment. There used to be too much being used. It can start to cause more algae to grow, so we don't want to go crazy with it. So use it when you need it to restore something, and use the right amount on the back of the package, and you're good to go. But it's certainly not something you're going to clean with as an all-purpose cleaner. Great power comes great responsibility. Heck yes, especially when it comes to cleaning. I used to my previous life say, you know, don't make me regret getting you the nice toys when I got cool new stuff for our franchise and it was harder hitting products. It's like, you know, that you get in that mom mode. You know, don't make me regret getting this for you. You know, use this right or I'm taking it out of the kit because some of these products can cause some damage if you're not careful. All right, let's see here. Why do I get streaks on my mirrors even when using glass cleaner? Great question. And the reason is mostly because you're using glass cleaner. I know that's going to sound weird, but I'll explain. So the deal is what you're seeing when you see a streak is chemical residue and dirt residue. That's the streak. So clean glass, if you got everything off of it, just, you know, shines like the Chrysler. It's good to go. But any dirt, any body oil residue, any soap residue is going to screw up the image and give you that streak. Now, if you're cleaning with a window cleaner, you'd think, oh, that's exactly what I should be doing. It's going to stop streaking. Well, not if you don't get it all off. If you're using a lousy towel, it's going to leave that Windex or that you know, people use liquid Dawn water, people use so many glass cleaners, whatever you're using, if the towel isn't pulling it off, then you're going to see streaks. My best advice for you, I'm going to shameless plug just because I know what I'm doing here, is you need proper microfiber towels. Yes, I know I work for a microfiber company, but I've been saying this for years, well before I worked here, so I'll explain why. So microfiber towels, what makes microfiber is it is able to, on a micro level, because it's such tiny little strands, grab onto and hold onto more dirt and chemicals than traditional natural fibers. If you were to envision this all blown up, a cotton fiber, you know, going across the screen and 100 little tiny microfibers, the dirt and the soap residue gets caught in between the fibers. The center of the fiber just holds water. The dirt gets caught in the spaces, and cotton doesn't leave much space for dirt. Microfiber leaves a ton. So when you wipe with it, way more of that window cleaner is going to get trapped in here than on the glass. And in particular, our glass drying towel, I don't know if you can see this here, has a very special weave where you can see it's like a bunch of little knots. It feels kind of like a stretchy jersey. Anyhow, this is still microfiber, but it's woven in such a way that it will not lint and it picks up lint. So as you are working on that streaky glass, you can just throw some water on it, buff it with this, and it will lock in all the dirt, all the toothpaste, all the hairspray and nonsense in your glass, and it will stay stuck in the towel. Because again, those microfibers are so thin, they're grabbing onto everything and causing a lot of friction. Microfibers are actually shredded along the outside, so they are able to grab on almost like the burr, like a burr in on someone's hair, where it's like caught. So your dirt is not able to redeposit the way it is with the cotton. Cotton, while it feels fluffy and soft and absorbs water, is honestly terrible at holding on to dirt. EPA testing, not ours, has shown when you use a mop that's cotton, it'll hold like 60% of the dirt and flop about a third of that back down as you continue to work with it. Microfiber holds on to over 95% of the dirt with no redeposit. It's why it's the gold standard in professional cleaning. So if you want to get that glass streak free, take a regular microfiber towel, rub down your glass with some water, get it nice and clean, and then dry it off with your glass towel. That's going to take any last lint and streaks and take it off and make it shine beautifully and save yourself money on the Windex. By the way, so I can show you those products so you know exactly what you're getting. Let me go ahead and scroll down here. I'm going to show you, this is our glass cleaning cloth. For those of you who want to check it out later on, you just go ahead again, hit the comments or click the QR code and go ahead and check out the glass cleaning cloth. And for our all-purpose towels, our multi-surface towels, that's this one here. This cleans anything from counters to cabinets to bathrooms to you name it. Honestly, you can do the glass with just this as well, but I find personally it's so much faster to get the lint and streaks off with this special weave. It kicks butt, honestly. The first time I cleaned with it, I was actively mad. I remember back in the day in MaidPro when I found Microfiber Wholesale as my client, my vendor, they sent me these products and I tested them, and this towel made me actively angry because I thought about how much time I've wasted trying to get glass to come out right without it. And I used this and I was like, oh, it was a stinking towel all along. It made me so mad. I can't even tell you. But I love them for it. Let's see here. Great question. So next one is how to remove water spots in a shower. Wonderful question. So quick science. Hard water is mineral deposits. So all hard water, the water spots you're seeing in the shower, is minerals dissolved in your water, usually calcium, magnesium, and iron. And if you want to visualize like stalactites in a cave where that water comes by and deposits and water comes by and deposits, that's what hard water is. Stalactites are basically neglected showers for a really long time. So you don't want to let your shower turn into a cave wall. So you've got to address it regularly before it gets that bad. If you're talking about the tile or the glass, honestly, the solution's still the same, which is you need acid, unless it's a fancy stone. We'll get to that in a second. But presuming it's a regular bathroom, you need acid. Acid dissolves minerals. So the best bet, in my opinion, and most people agree because it's a very popular product and has been for a very long time for a good reason, is Barkeeper's Friend. Barkeeper's Friend, honestly, I wish I owned stock. The stuff is stinking incredible. It is an old school formula. It's mostly powdered oxalic acid and feldspar, which is a ground up mineral. So it's basically like jeweler's polish and acid and a little soap. Comes in a powder, a couple bucks a can, especially if you get it at like a local hardware store. And you just shake it in a bowl, put a few drops of water in there until it becomes a nice slurry paste, and smear that on all the water spots and walk away. Give it 10 minutes. The acid is going to break down the minerals, dissolve a good amount of them, and then the rest is going to be very brittle. So now when you go to scrub, it's going to come right off so much easier. The big mistake I see everyone make is they put up hard water products and immediately go to town. Don't do that. Give it 10 minutes to do its job. Then go scrub. And this will take it down for you pretty much all the way down. If you've got some leftover bits because it's been a long time, the other trick is Magic Eraser, the final spots, especially on the glass. I will shamelessly plug, you're overpaying for your melamine foam. Sorry, I'm going to be the one to break this to you, but you're mostly paying for Procter & Gamble's marketing, and I know because I used to work there. And yes, I'm tanking my own stock for telling you that, but it's the truth. You can get the same foam from the same factory from other companies. No, really. Now, not all of them. There's two big factories that manufacture melamine foam in the world. One is in China and one is in Germany. Baths, that's the better one. That's the one in Germany. That's the one that makes the Magic Eraser for Procter & Gamble. And you can get, for example, this Instant Eraser company buys the same exact foam from the same exact factory. They're just making it in bulk cases and not putting a cool Mr. Clean logo on it. And therefore it ends up being 36 cents a sponge as opposed to $1+ a sponge. Now, you may say, I don't need 76 sponges. Cool. Give them out to your friends and family. Buy them as a group. Split them up. There's going to be no one in your life that's upset that they got 36 cents Magic Erasers, okay? Trust me, you want these in your life. And they are wonderful for any of those ghosty spots on your shower glass. So you scrubbed it with the Barkeeper's Friend, but there's still those last ghosts. The Mr. Clean Magic Eraser is going to take those last ones off, and you're good to go. And hopefully that answered that question for you thoroughly. Let's see here. Next question. How can I remove car magnets that are now stuck on my car? Thought they would peel off like a magnet would, but no luck. Yikes. That is a toughie one. Um, so unfortunately, what you're dealing with there is at a certain point, finishes like car finish are soft. And if you've got something stuck to it long enough and there's that magnet pulling of the magnet towards the metal, it's basically squished some of that finish into the porousness of that magnet material, that rubbery magnet material. So you've actually got some bonding that's occurring there. And that's going to be tough to get off. Your best bets, a couple things that you can play with are something like a Goo Gone product. You can kind of drip it along the edges there and try to work it gently with a plastic scraper tool, gently, because we don't want to screw up the finish. That may get you some ability to kind of pull that back. The other thing you may want to try is a little heat. Often finishes are pretty heat sensitive and they get softer when they are warmed. So that may help it let go of that magnet and that whatever's gotten pregnant in there kind of soften up and let go. Those would be my two best bets. I will admit I have not been asked to fix that on a car before, but now I'm going to go ahead and test and find out. But those would be my two best bets on that. I can tell you though, so you don't feel bad, I can tell you how to fix it if you screw up the finish though. So if you are using the Goo Gone and you're using a little heat and you're trying to get that to come off and stick in, and as you're working, you maybe get a little too aggressive and it starts to scuff it up a little bit, don't worry. Meguiar's Scratch X. I didn't think to put a link to this one because I didn't know I was going to get this question, but Meguiar's Scratch X. I wasn't expecting car questions, but this is a fun one. Is an amazing product. You can use it actually both on your car and in your house. Meguiar's Scratch X will absolutely take dumb scratches and scuffs and fender benders and other little, white marks of other people's paint off of your finish. Easy peasy. Does an awesome job. But what it also does for you inside the house is any dumb scratches you did on plastic. So if you got little scratches on your microwave, you got little scratches on your glass table, you buff them with the Meguiar Scratch X, and it masks them and makes them look smooth and glassy, just like you started. Great product. I've had a number of cleaners across the country accidentally scratch up someone's microwave. We buff this in and you'd never know. So it's a great product. So hopefully those tricks will get the magnet off, and the Scratch X will fix any little marks you make trying to use the plastic scraper and the Goo Gone trying to get it to move, and maybe a little heat. All right. Great question. So what is the best residential cleaning vacuum? Ooh, loaded question here. All right, so I will gladly talk about vacuums. I should mention very quickly, though, for everyone listening in, thank you so much for joining us. I'm hoping that you've already are hit follow or like or subscribe, depending on what social media you're on. But please, please, please add us, because I'm going to be answering questions like this every week. You're going to learn so much, and you can use this like an encyclopedia, basically. You can go back later and look through these things to find your answers to your questions. So please, please, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow all the things. Share this post so that you have it in your timeline and you remember it. And let's get the word out that I'm democratizing cleaning information, making it available to everybody, so you don't have to wait to get access to an expert anymore. So best residential vacuum, didn't mean to stall, just want to make sure I got that in there. Honestly, it's tough because I am spoiled by the commercial world. I can tell you that in the commercial world, without a doubt, my favorite is Protein. Protein is the best commercial vacuum, and once you've used it, going back to the residential stuff is really depressing because it's just so stinking strong and good. I will say Dyson makes an incredible vacuum. They do a wonderful job. Um, I love its performance. The only reason I'm not willing to say it's my absolute favorite is it's hard to repair. And that's one thing I don't like about a lot of residential vacuums is they design them to make the consumer at the mercy of the repair shop. I believe in making things that people can repair themselves. But again, that's right back to what we've got going on with cars now too, where you need a PhD in computer science to fix your own car. Same problem we've got with vacuums. They've made them with 10,000 little screws and little teeny plastic parts that no one can get apart and put back together anymore. So that frustrates me on just a principle level, but the machine performs very well. If you're like, hey, Dyson's a little expensive, don't worry. I would also say the Shark line is surprisingly coming up in the world in terms of some of the pieces they're putting out lately. Is it the same performance as a protein commercial vacuum? Heck no. But for a retail vacuum at a bargain price, they surprisingly do well, and they're adding some fun features. I'm like, oh, good for you, Shark. I'm impressed lately. I think they've done well. So I would give them the thumbs up. If you've got the money to burn, Miele is the fanciest, nicest, most amazing residential vacuum. It's whisper quiet, great performance, and they last forever. But they're like $1,000 a vacuum, so I'm not going to mention them here unless you're like, hey, I want the the Lexus of vacuums. But those would be my main picks. I won't tell you who I hate because that's just not nice. But uh, I will focus on the ones I love, and I think Dyson does a great job. I think Shark's doing a great job on the value end of the equation. If you're looking for a commercial vac, Proteam's absolutely way to go. Best filtration in the system. Let's see here. Question. Hi, love your tips and you're so knowledgeable. Aren't you so sweet? Thank you, Candace. Everyone's being so supportive today. I am very lucky that my first weekly go live is filled with so many kind people. Thank you all for being here. Seriously. Um, Clean It Up agrees. Restream is great, isn't it? Though I'm in love with this thing. I'm learning fast. I'm as I've tried to explain to everybody, I'm a cleaning expert, not a marketing content creator. I am not an influencer. If you're one of those people that's been going online to follow, those girls with the 6-inch nails and the 18-inch waist, trying to tell you how they maintain their perfect lifestyle with their, uh, fancy leggings and they're cleaning like this the whole time, this is not me. Okay. I didn't come to this because I figured, oh, you want someone to feed you nonsense off Google. I came to this because I was a cleaning expert and it was my job for decades, and then I happened to be given the opportunity to use my knowledge to help the world. So I wasn't planning on this career. I was not planning to be on social media. I was planning to work for my clients that I've been with for years, and then I was handed this magic opportunity to sort of democratize my knowledge and bring it to the world, and I love it. I'm having a blast, but Lord knows it's not my usual skill set. So I'm learning fast, and this Restream tool is awesome because it makes me look like I know what I'm doing, which I certainly don't. So yes, again, shameless plug to Restream. Um, Again, so many kind comments today. I'm going to keep you all around. Seriously, come back every week. I have to admit, I was totally stressing about doing this show, and the support on here is just incredible. Thank you all so much. Let's see. Crystal has a niche question for me. Oh, okay. I think Apple laptops have screens with special coatings on them. Do you have any recommendations on how to keep them clean? I know Windex isn't supposed to be used, but I don't know what to use instead. Wonderful question, Crystal. And Crystal, seriously, that is like an amazing question, and I'm totally going to give you a freebie for that. So be sure to DM me at the end because I want to give out. I'm going to be giving out some towels. I'm going to give out some mops. I'm going to ask people what they do or don't have, so I can try to give you something that you actually want. And I've been given authorization to give out some cleaning giveaways and treats. And actually, for everyone that's on here, as I'm realizing I haven't shown you yet, I have actually a gift for everybody that I forgot to give out. Let me get it here. For everyone watching, if you're still on here, Ask an Expert 15 is a special promo code I was given for the week. So excited. So please grab this promo code, go to microphorawholesale.com, and you get a 15% off on me. So if you see anything cool to show you enjoy, grab it, go have fun, and tell Melissa sent you. Now, back to that question though. What to do about those fancy screens? Let me get that right back up on here so that people can see that question one more time. There we go. All right. So what do you do when you have any sort of text screen with a specialty coating? How do I care for it? And the answer is number one, you want to try to use good microfiber as much and often as possible. Good microfiber can actually clean with just water, so you're not damaging any of those special coatings. If you take your microfiber towel and you lightly dampen it with water and you buff out that screen, microfiber has been proven, EPA testing, not ours, to pick up over 95% of dirt and germs with no redeposit. That means it gets stuck in there like burrs and stuck, and the friction holds it. So you're able to buff off all that junk on that glass. Now, if you haven't been doing it for a while and the glass has gotten kind of gross, and it's past where you're like, oh, I'm buffing and I'm just not happy because there's like, a bunch of like food residue and, sticky toddler fingers or something. Usually for the most part, frankly, this will do it and you'll be all done. And the glass cloth to buff a shine and you'll be thrilled. But if it's really gross and you need more firepower, the only other thing I would tell you is not going to mess with your coatings is dish soap. I know that sounds weird, but Dawn dish soap would be my next solution in limited amounts. Now, it's not a limited amount because I'm worried it's going to do something. There's nothing in dish soap that's going to harm any coatings, but dish soap by its definition is extremely concentrated and designed to be sudsy, and I want as little water on a technology screen as possible. So what I would do is I would take a bottle of Dawn and give it a little squirt into a bowl with some warm water. Just a little squirt, a couple drops. Take your microfiber towel, dip it in, wring it out well, and use that to clean up. And that should get any, heavy buildup grease that you're like, oh, I can't get off of here. But Dawn dish soap is purely something called surfactants. And surfactants are basically, I hate to say this, but visualize little sperm. And the head of it is hydrophilic. It likes the water. And the tail of it is hydrophobic. It likes oil and dirt. So one end of it sticks to the water and one end of it sticks to the dirt and the oils and the particulates, and it pulls A into B. Without surfactants, you can't clean very well because you can dissolve sugars in water, but solids and particulate soils and oils will not dissolve in water on their own. They'll just sit there unless you rub them off with a microfiber, which means a lot more work. But when you use surfactants, it actually pulls the dirt and particulates off of the bottom of the surface and lifts them up into the water, makes them float. So it's much easier to just swish by and wipe because they've already been lifted by that surfactant and held into the water in suspension so they can be rinsed away. So hopefully that was a geeky enough question and a geeky enough answer. So we're going perfectly together there. I love it. All right, let's see here. Oh, someone already threw in that we are having the 15% site-wide discount today. Please stop by and enjoy. And again, you've got my coupon as well, but this 15% site-wide coupon is only for today. Mine's good all week. So if you buy something today, you get it and you love it and you want something else, you can use mine until the end of the week. So get a little 2 for order there. Let's see here. Those cloths are the real deal. She's right. Yes. So I will tell you a quick backstory. Angela, you're 100% right. Um, the reason I'm here is because I was such a microfiber wholesale groupie for so many years. I used to work at Maypro, one of the largest residential cleaning franchises in North America, for over 18 years. And microfiber wholesale was my vendor of choice for microfiber for over 10 of them. No one could unseat them. I found them going to industry trade shows, and I fell so much in love with their products and customer service. It literally been me and them since. And I got sent so many towels from so many competitors, and I would test them because I'm a dork. I'd sit there with my AB, testing with blue painter's tape and put the different soils in different size and test them. And every time Microfiber Wholesale just smoked the competition over and over and over. So much so that when they offered me this opportunity, I was like, I get to help you guys? Done. It was just such an easy and awesome choice, because honestly, these towels are incredible. And you can ask anyone in the Maypro past life world, they'll tell you the same thing. Let's see. Those towels are the bomb. They do some heavy lifting when cleaning, and they last so long. Yes. Costco towels. So let's talk about this. We dished our cheaper ones at Costco and saved a ton because we never had to replace them. Drew, honestly, you are speaking my language, and I'll tell you, this is the thing that drives me most bonkers in cleaning, is so many people get encouraged into penny-wise, dollar-foolish decisions. They say, oh, I'm going to buy my cleaning chemicals at the dollar store. I'm going to buy this cheap microfiber at the dollar store. And don't get me wrong, I love the dollar store for like little kids' Tinker Toys, whatever, but you don't get your cleaning supplies at dollar store or in Costco. I love me some Costco, but when it comes to the microfiber, because it's all about wear life. Those products are cheap to buy. These are cheap to own. When you buy the right stuff the first time, like the microfiber wholesale products, they last 300 plus washes. Again, I saw this at the franchise I worked with for decades. I got to see the purchase history. They last 300 plus washes. Those dollar store towels and those Costco towels, if they make it 6 months, you give them a retirement party. Okay, they don't last. So you say, oh, well, look, I saved, 20 cents because I bought them at the cheapoid store. And then you throw them out 6+ months earlier than you would be if you got the right stuff the first time. And it ends up paying you to buy these. If you get quality microfiber, it literally pays you to buy it because not only are you saving on the wear life because it lasts so much longer, you're cleaning faster every time you use it. And I'm sorry, whether you're a professional or a home consumer, your time is worth money. And if you're sitting there going, trying to clean with something that isn't working versus one wipe of this and it goes, that's more time with your kids. That's more time at the gym. That's more time working on your job. That's more time on so many things. Stop messing around with the cheap stuff. Sorry, I'm going on a rant because it drives me bonkers. Um, oh, more microfiber wholesale love. Love it. Angela, I agree. I wish I owned stock in several products. Barkeeper's Friend is the best. Yes, clean that up. Seriously, we're going to have just a little love-in party about Barkeeper's Friend for an hour. I swear to God. All right. Good morning. If somebody managed to spill their coffee all over their fleece and their wool sweater this morning, what's the best way to clean those? Oh, somebody. Oh, goodness. I am so sorry. So the good news is you said this morning. So you're in luck, which is as long as you haven't hit it with heat yet, you're in good shape. Most stains with laundry stains where people mess themselves up is they chuck it in the hamper to let it dry, and then they throw it through the wash cycle to see what happens, and they throw it through the dryer and go, oh, the stain didn't come out. I guess I'll try to fix it now. And that's too late. Most stains are heat set. When you expose it to the heat of the dryer, if you didn't get it out in time, you're now changing the molecular structure of that organic matter that's in the fabric, and you're making it bond and cook and hold on harder to the fabrics. So the fact that you said this morning, yay, okay, we're in good shape. When it comes to coffee, honestly, it all depends on what the material. So wool's a little harder. It depends on the color of the wool. Fleece is well, a lot of fleece is synthetic, so that's pretty easy. If you have the nice, actual wool fleece, that's another story. But most of those fleece jackets people have is just like polyester fleece, and it's pretty stain resistant. And you just need to rinse it out, and you'll be good to go. A little shout will do wonders. But the key here is blot it out, rinse it out. Even just Tide detergent is an excellent pre-treat. It's funny, everyone was like, "What's the best stain fighters? What's the best stain fighters for laundry?" Just plain old Tide, straight. Tide is incredible. I know I say that because I have P&G stock from back in the day, but the formula is rock solid. Shout's pre-treat is wonderful as well. I'll give them a shameless plug in a second. But if you don't have it around, anything else around, grab your Tide, rinse out what you can, put it on directly. And OxiClean is another wonderful if you need to whiten things. So like again, if that stain has set a bit, OxiClean is my go-to. It takes out so many stains, and it's pretty darn safe. Again, the thing with wool is you don't want to high heat dry. You can rinse it, you can soak it a bit, you can gently air dry it, blot it dry, mat it out to dry so it doesn't shrink up on you. Those things will all work. But the key here is don't let it dry and set overnight. Don't put it through the wash and the dryer cycle because heat will lock its stains. So hopefully that helped you out. Let's see here. Last week you mentioned ideal wash and dry temperatures for microfiber cloths. My building has coin-operated commercial washers and dryers. Would it be best to just air dry the microfiber, or might be the delicate setting work? Wonderful question. For most commercial and residential dryers, anything that says permanent press or it's intended for synthetics and polyesters is what you're looking for. So, fun fact, the actual raw material that is used to make microfiber is the same raw material that's used to make most polyester. It's that same sort of plastic polymers. It's just spun infinitely finer. But that same issue is the case with your polyester shirts and things as well, that if you blast them with too high a heat, it starts to melt the fibers, which is why people tell you no using a high heat dryer on those synthetic fabrics. You're going to leave burn marks with the iron. No throwing them in crazy high heat dry. They're going to melt into form and shrivel. So any washer and dryer settings that are meant for polyester, synthetics, athletic wear, things like that, you can use for your microfiber as well. What you're trying to avoid on microfiber is no high heat dry, no sanitizing steam blast dry, no towel cycle, because it's meant for cotton towels, which benefit from extremely high heat because they hold on to dirt in their bed at cleaning. But when it comes to cleaning microfiber, any of the synthetic settings, permanent press, etc., that's where you want to go. And yes, you can. I should mention, you can absolutely air dry your microfiber. It's totally okay to do so. The one thing I would caution against is depending on where you've been using it. If you are, washing your car or something with microfiber and you want to wash those towels and just let them air dry, by all means have at it. But if they were your bathroom towels, you want those to get some heat. Okay, 135 degrees for an hour is going to kill the germs. You can use bleach to try to solve that problem, but bleach breaks down microfiber and every fiber. Bleach is an oxidizer. Breaks down fibers. That's its job. So that's why it kills the germs, is breaking things down. So you don't want to expose microfiber to heavy amounts of bleach repeatedly, because that is going to really shorten the lifespan of the towel. So if you're going to do it, you have to use a very small amount. And trick, by the way, to kind of lessen the damage to some degree is, couple of tablespoons in the wash cycle. And then the next time you wash those towels, use vinegar instead. The bleach molecule, sodium hydrochloride, is a really strong alkaline. And if you want to get rid of a strong alkaline, you use a strong acid. So throwing some vinegar in the wash cycle or doing a quick wash with rinse cycle with it with some vinegar will help strip off the remaining molecules of that sodium hydrochloride and neutralize them, which will help manage some of the damage a little bit. It's not going to stop it. So that doesn't mean, hey, I can go crazy with bleach. It just means your towels won't smell like a pool and you will get a little longer life out of them if you use a vinegar rinse cycle or a vinegar wash alternating with that bleach. But again, I'm not encouraging bleach. I'm encouraging the dryer because that's going to get you there a longer wear life. Shark and Dyson regularly go head to head in the JD Power Awards. Both are great vacuums for homes. Absolutely. You're 100% right, Angela. You know your stuff for sure. Both of them are excellent products. Dyson has a little more sophistication to their design, but again, it's so sophisticated, no one could fix it. So I love them, but I frustrated with them at the same time. The thing I love most about the commercial world is they design vacuums for repairability. So note to anyone out there, if you have access to any commercial vacuums, they are the vacuums you can take care of yourself for years. In my former life, we had Maypro locations with protein vacuums that lasted 8-10 years with proper care because they can repair them. They're designed to be open up and get in there. Another commercial line you may not be able to get a hold of as easily, but I think they're on Amazon as well. The Perfect C105 vacuum. Nationwide Sales and Service is another commercial supplier. So it's not something you're going to find at your local Target, but if you want to go look online for that C105 vacuum from Perfect, that's their retail brand name they put on it. It is an amazingly repairable bargain vacuum. It's like $200, whereas most of the vacuums are so much more. It has that great power that you're looking for from a commercial vacuum. And it's really simple. It's a canister, straightforward. Any home consumer can handle it. And to take the thing apart is like 5 screws. So if you, screw up a switch plate or, a power switch or the cord's gone, you can, in 20 minutes, go in there, open it up, switch out the cord, and be good to go, as opposed to having to go a whole new vacuum. Any ideas for grass stains on laundry? We're doing a lot of laundry today. I was wondering what type of questions I was going to get. I love laundry questions because I have two kids, 11 and 8, and man, do they make me learn my stain tech. So grass stains, you're looking at a dye type product. Um, this is where I'll give the shout out to plain old Tide Straight. Right on it, rub it with a toothbrush, gentle toothbrush. Let it sit, do its job. It's going to do wonders for you. And again, follow that by an OxiClean soak, and the grass stains will be good to go. A lot of people go running to bleach for a lot of these whitening stains, but again, it breaks down the fibers of your fabric so much faster than an oxy. The sodium carbonate in the OxiClean is, it's still an oxidizer, but it's much more gentle to fibers than sodium hydrochloride. It's definitely the way you want to go. It's basically a fun science. Says someone said here they like soap science. Okay, I'll give you some more soap science real quick. So what is in OxiClean is basically the precursor to hydrogen peroxide. When it hits water, it breaks apart and becomes basically hydrogen peroxide. But the problem with real hydrogen peroxide is the second you open the bottle, it's oxidized, it's reactive, and it loses its potency very quickly. If you look at the back of any of your hydrogen peroxide type bottles, they'll tell you, it's in this brown bottle, it's trying to not be in sunlight, only use a certain amount of months, and then it's no good. That's because it falls apart, okay? It is very reactive and it turns into nothing. That's what's the power of OxiClean, is you basically have the power of perfectly fresh hydrogen peroxide waiting for you in this dry powder. As soon as you hit the water, it activates and becomes that super fresh hydrogen peroxide. So you're getting that whitening power without the damage, and it's always there waiting for you. You don't have to worry about, oh, is it expiring? Is it losing potency? It's always full potency the second you hit it with the water, which is why we love it. Let's see here. This is so fun. I like a review from my AP class, like my AP Chem class. Yes, anyone who enjoys geeking out on science and cleaning, you found the right place. I admit this is what I love to do. So if you're enjoying, please come hang out. Thank you so much. Can you talk about getting candle wax off vintage tablecloths? Wonderful question, Karen. All right, so this is what I actually have personal experience with, so I will gladly talk to you about it. So waxes in general are very hard to clean. They're very hard for soaps to break down. So the key to getting wax off anything is to absorb and remove as much of it as possible, so you have as little work to do with the soap as possible. So number one step, if you've knocked over candle wax on your tablecloth, on your couch, or any other fabric you try to get it out of, step number one, you're gonna laugh, is take a brown paper bag. No, really, an old shopping brown paper bag. You're gonna put it on top of the fabric, and then you're gonna iron with an old, good old-fashioned iron. I know no one irons anymore, but you gotta have one somewhere in the house, okay? Find it, put it on a reasonable medium setting. It doesn't have to be crazy hot, but hot enough to melt wax. And here's what's gonna happen. As you hit it with the heat, the wax is gonna melt, and it's gonna be attracted towards the heat, so it's going to absorb up into the brown paper bag. So you're going to take that paper bag, open it up so it's all flat, and you're going to iron over an area till you see the wax absorb. Move to a fresh section, iron again, watch that wax absorb into the paper, move to a fresh section, and you'll see it right on the paper. It's kind of cool. It's like a dark oil stain. And you keep moving and ironing and moving and ironing and moving and ironing till you fill up the paper with all the wax that was in the tablecloth, and you can usually get like 95% of the wax out without having touched soap, just by the power of heat and absorption, and you get all that wax out of the fabric. Once the paper has done its job and you really can't get any more out of ironing, and you're not seeing that stain happen anymore, what's left is probably a teensy bit of wax residue, maybe a little dye residue. At that point, we're going to go back to our favorites of our Tide Straight and Oxy Soak, and you'll be good to go, and that tablecloth will be happy as can be. Vintage tablecloth, you definitely don't want to do anything stronger than Oxy, because real bleach will break that down. Oxy will not damage the fibers. So great question, lots of fun. Thank you so much. And everyone still watching here, Please like, subscribe, follow. This is going to be every week, so if I don't get to everyone's questions, I'm going to try to stay here until I run out of questions, obviously. But I'm going to be here next week, so if you're like, oh, I should have asked whatever, just come back. I'm going to be here. I'm here to support everybody. Am I allowed to submit a second questions? Oh, of course you are. If you're here, I'm answering. You bet you can. Am I let's see. We have a new induction oven. Induction stove with a glass cooktop. And it is already starting to get weird stains, possibly due to the Silpat pads that prevent scratches. They retain oil and heat up. Oh, is this a long question? It's not showing me here. Let me. I sorry here. It's a long enough question that it's not showing it right. My apologies. I have to read it on the side here. It's possibly due to the Silpat like pads we got from that prevent scratches. They retain oil and heat up the oil between the pad and the pot. So maybe that's causing the weird stains. The stove came with a no-name brand cleaning liquid that's white and does help a lot, but I also don't know what to replace it with when I'm run out. Help! Great question. All right, awesome question. So the deal is here, and I'll just put that back up now that I can read the whole thing, is induction stoves are glass cooktop. And pretty much all the basic rules of cleaning glass apply. You do have to be careful because there's some painted lines and things, so it's a little less free form as just plain plate glass, but most glass rules apply. So in terms of cleaning glass cooktops, I am a huge fan of two product options. One is Wyman Glass Cooktop Polish. Does a wonderful job. It's a little cream cleanser in a bottle. It will take out all those weird stains and give you a nice glorious shine. Very easy for the home consumer to use. Love the product, does awesome work. If you are a commercial entity or cleaning a lot, though, the polish can get kind of pricey. It's an expensive little bottle. So for you, I'm going to tell you, good old Barkeeper's Friend. And also for Crystal, if you have a Barkeeper's Friend bottle sitting around, it does the same thing. So I'm going to get yelled at by barkeepers for revealing this one, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Barkeeper's Friend, if you look online, they've got their powder, they've got their cream cleanser, they've got their cooktop cleanser. It's all the same base powder. No, really, their whole lineup is the same base powder. It's just they put water in it and a little basically Dawn dish soap type surfactants in it and put it in a sexy bottle so that you believe it does cooktops. But the same powder will do the same thing. Okay, so if you're cleaning on a massive scale and you want to make sure to kind of manage your pennies, the Barkeeper's Friend powder, hit that with a little water, buff that in the shower glass, the touch of Dawn, just so you have some more soapiness action there, and wash that off. And any weird stains you've built up on that shower glass are going to be good to go, and it's not going to scratch. But for a home consumer, honestly, I like the cooktop polish for you a little better because it is so convenient and easy to buffs on. It's less rinsing work than the Barkeeper's Friend. Barkeeper's Friend does the job, but it takes a little more effort. If you're, trying to manage money at scale, it's worth that little bit of extra effort. But if you've just got your own little stove to manage, I'd totally go with the cooktop polish. Let's see here. I love the cheap tone versus cheap to buy. Absolutely. Tell us about microfiber glass cloths and how they are different regular clean cloths. I think I talked about that a little earlier, but I'll just reinforce it in case people came in a little late. Let's see here. Did I put my towel down? Yeah, I did. Okay. So the thing I want you to see very quickly is your all-purpose microfiber. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of a terry loop weave. It looks like a bath towel. Okay, so it's those loops. And so it's still microfiber. Both these towels are still microfiber, but that looser weave is great for buffing and sliding and gliding, and it's looser, so it allows more room to pick up dirt. It's a great all-purpose, hits everything type of cleaner. The glass towel, I don't know if you can see that here, has these little teeny knots all in it, okay? And those little teeny knots support the fibers so they don't break apart. And that will allow you to clean with it and not leave any sort of microlint from snapping of the microfibers. It supports them all. and it allows it to buff anything off of glass and be completely streak and lint free. But you'll notice it's a much thinner towel. Its job is to dry and buff. It doesn't hold as much water because overall there's much more weight to this towel than this towel. So this is the towel I want to use for wet cleaning. This is going to be my wipe the counter, wipe the glass, wipe the stove, get all the dirt and yuck off. And then I'm going to dry up with this because its job is to pull off those streaks in the lint, and it's just pulling that last bit of water off. And so I wouldn't want to clean the house with this because it's the weave is important, but it would be I'd go through too many of them. It wouldn't hold enough water. So this is what I want to use to clean with. I just want to keep one of these tucked in my hip while I clean. And when I get to anything I need to dry that needs to be shiny, whether it's stainless steel, microwave, glass, you name it, just grab it, dry it up and make it look perfectly shiny and stick it back in your hip and away you go. Because you're cleaning with this first, the surface is already clean. You can just use this one towel all until you're done because you're just drying off a clean surface. 409 takes blood out of anything. Old blood washes out, and dried to after the stain has set. It's amazing. 409 is wonderful. I totally agree. It is a wonderful product. I will say blood stains are hard too. You do have to be careful with that because again, once it's heat set, depending on the fabric, it can be pretty grouchy about trying to get those blood proteins out of the fibers after they've been cooked in place. But 409 is a great hint and trick. The one thing you have to be careful of is that 409 is going to be fine for natural fibers. You're probably not going to do that on synthetics though, because 409 with its oil solvents may bond to some of the polyester and polyamide in some synthetics. You may end up with an oil stain you have to try to get rid of after you've fixed the blood stain. So just be careful of what fabrics you use that trick on, but very clever. I approve. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking WD-40, not 409. 409 is totally fine. That's the all-purpose cleaner. For some reason, I thought you said WD-40. Scratch that last warning about the bonding. I was thinking you were using WD-40, which I thought was a weird hack. So now that I'm reading clearly, you're saying 409 all-purpose cleaner. Huh, I have not tried that. I will check that out. Actually, Chin, I'm going to have you note here, so I remember the video later. I'm going to send you a treat as well. You're getting a little variety pack of towels from me for giving me something new and fun to test this weekend. My kids are forever getting new stains, and I love a new trick. So I have not tried 409 as a stain fighter. So I'm going to give that a shot this weekend and give a report back next week. No, Lord knows with my kids, they will get something on something this weekend that I can test it out on because that's just how they roll. So thank you for that. Crystal Non-Scratch Scrubby and Power Bar Keeper's Friend, Stovetop. Let's see, and SOS pads work amazing on glass cooktops. It is non-scratch. So SOS pads, with care, you can. One thing I would say is for glass in general, you can use steel wool, but it's the type of grade you want to be careful with. I usually recommend if you're going to go after glass with any sort of steel wool, you want to make sure you've specifically bought quadruple zero steel wool. That's the fine grade. So quadruple zero steel wool, you can use that on glass successfully to get hard water spots off and all sorts of things. And it's definitely non-scratch. So if you want to go to that stainless steel route, that is where you go. But I would be careful about that on your glass cooktop around the paint marks. So one thing that's the issue with the glass cooktop is there's usually, depending on the manufacturer, all these painted marks to show you where to put your stuff in some of the brands. And if you're using too aggressive a scrubber, you're going to accidentally wear down that paint that's showing you where the burners are. So just be mindful if you're going to use that sort of steel wool type product, be very careful where you're scrubbing and how often you're scrubbing that way, because again, you can mess up the paint. And the quadruple zero steel wool is going to be your better bet. Actually, fun fact for everybody, if you want to use steel wool on glass and get your money's worth, don't use steel, use bronze. This was a fun trick I learned a few years ago from my work in getting into the world of external window cleaning. So quadruple zero steel wool does an amazing job getting junk off glass and not scratching it, but it rusts because it's steel. And as soon as it rusts, The rust can scratch. It makes the metal all bond together and become harder and no longer fine strands anymore. And you can actually scratch the crud out of your glass if you try to scrub it with rusty steel wool. So never use it when it's rusty. As soon as you see red, away it goes. One day use. It's all you get out of quadruple zero steel wool. But fine bronze wool, you're looking for the fine version. Again, you want that fine strand. Fine bronze wool does not rust. So you can use it on that glass over and over and over again. So if you've got shower glass that you're fighting, fine bronze wool will do wonders for that hard water. On your windows outside, if you got hard water, that bronze wool is wonderful stuff, and you can use it till literally it falls apart. You don't have to worry about rust. But again, on the cooktops, be careful because all those painted surfaces. Let's see here. Oh, more questions. Oh, if you have time, can you tell us the difference between washer and dryer settings and why we would use them? I don't understand why most of the settings exist. That is a great question. So engineers love to do their job, and the washing machine was designed generations ago now. They've all had time to play and figure out how to optimize anything you're doing, whether it's a dishwasher or a washing machine. The first typewriters, they got optimized, and now we have computers. Everything always gets improved. So the first washers did the same thing that all the ancient ones did, which was they just agitate back and forth. They just swish, and they hope that if you swished long enough, dirt would eventually fall out, and they're mostly waiting for the soap to do the job. Over time, they realized that the agitation in the laundry cycle can actually boost the power of the soap. So most of those cycles that you're seeing are nowadays all about temperature, time, and agitation, because depending on what you mix, you can get different soils out. So, for example, if you're cleaning a cotton towel load, you are going to get a much hotter cycle because that heat is going to help pull the dirt out of cotton fibers, which again are hard to kind of get clean. It's also going to sanitize and kill a lot of germs. And they're also going to do a lot more aggressive agitation, trying to give you that friction between the fabrics to get everything to move and get all the dirt to come out. Big thing here, everyone kills their laundry's ability to help them when they overload a machine. I said this in the last week's show, and I'm going to say it again. If you are overloading your washing machine, you are undoing those engineers' hard work. They put all sorts of effort into figuring out how frequently and fast to flip the laundry to get it to rub against each other. It's like when you rub your hands to wash your hands. Remember that whole virus thing we just went through where everyone had to learn how to wash their hands? The friction is what helps scrub the fabrics, like that old washing board. They rub against each other and scrub. If you've jammed all your laundry in there so it can't move as it goes, then you don't get any of that agitation action, and all the lint sticks and all the stains stick because nothing moved as it was being laundered. So don't overstuff it. The other thing you can do to undo all those wonderful settings is dumping too much detergent and too much fabric softener in there. Detergent, like I just described earlier, is surfactants that bond to the dirt molecules and bond to the water. If they run out of dirt to bond to, they just start bonding to the fabric and bonding to the inside of the machine, which is why the machine gets all gunky and moldy and gross because it has all this random soap bonded up in there, especially the fabric softeners. So those different settings are going to give you different temperatures depending on the type of fabric. They're going to give you different durations depending on how much agitation they can handle. Like if I'm cleaning a delicate item, I don't want to be rubbing at it forever and ever and ever because it's delicate. I'm going to tear it up. So they're going to give you less agitation and less time and more gentle heat so that you're not damaging the fibers. So all those different settings are trying to balance those three things to be as aggressive as they can for that fabric type. We want to get it as clean as we can, right up to the edge for that type of fabric. And what one fabric can handle, the other can't. So there's different settings. So there's your geeky answer. Let's see here. How do I feel about Oreck vacuums? I'd say I know they got a following because they're light. I get it, they're light, but I personally find they're kind of one-trick ponies. I like a lot of the features you get with some of the other machines. I want a machine that's going to allow me to take my hose off and go hit, sills and dust and vents and AC vents and suck out all the dirt and dust. I want to be able to go from hardwood floors to carpets. I want all those features because that allows me as a home consumer and a professional cleaner to clean faster. The old school, just old upright vacuums that just do their 1950s job of just hitting the hot carpet and nothing else. Those bore me. I want more tech at this point. We've had enough time for most of the industry to make cooler things. A light upright vacuum doesn't excite me anymore. I want an all-in-one. I want to be able to do everything I can. So it's nothing wrong with it. It does its job. It's reliable. It's simple, but I want a multitasker. Let's see. What's the best way to get light scratches out of stainless steel appliances? Ooh, I got a good one for this one. So I ran into this so many times in my Maypro world because I don't care how careful you are. If you're a professional cleaner, you're going to scratch stainless steel some point in your life because stainless steel scratches so stinking easy. So I had to become an expert in how to fix it. And here's the funny solution. You're not going to believe me, but here we are. You want a metal polishing kit. No, really. You're going to take your cordless drill. Everyone's got one somewhere, or a neighbor. Go ask the neighbor. And you get this polishing kit, and it comes with 3 different buffing wheels. And you're going to put the buffing wheel in the machine, and you're going to say, hey, this is spinning this way. How on earth am I going to buff anything with it if it's on my drill and it's spinning this way? You're going to flip it upside down, and now you've got the wheel. You can point it at the appliance. Now, most appliances have this straight grain, like the refrigerator has that grain that's going across it. You can now use that drill, again, flipped upside down, so the wheel is spinning this way, to regrade the stainless steel in straight lines. Okay, so you're going to pull straight across following the grain. Do not go up and down. Do not go in circles. You're going to trash your stuff. Okay, start with the lightest polishing compound. I always want to start gentle and move up the ranks if I have to. So put the lightest, softest one is when you deal with metal polishes, it goes from darker is scarier, lighter is gentler. So the black color goes with the harder yellow buffing wheel. That is last resort. That's literally taking off a lot of steel. So we don't want to use that. That's like to create a grade. So don't do that. The middle gray one is reasonably aggressive. I don't want to use that if I don't have to. The number 5, that's the light soft stuff with the white pad. Very gentle. I'm going to start there. I'm going to go back and forth along with the grain and buff, 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 let the drill do its job. And usually more often than not, that's enough to handle it right then and there. If you can still see it, you can take the risk of taking the gray one on the yellow pad, going a little deeper in terms of how much metal you're taking off. You're going to have to use the white again to polish it up and get your shine, but that will go deeper and get more of that grain out. Now, basically what you're doing is you're removing metal and regrading stainless steel. That's no easy task. Depending on how fine a grain of the stainless steel is, there's so many grades and so many grains out there now, I can't predict you for all them all. Some of them are really hard to match, and you end up having to buff out the entire front of the fridge to make it look consistent. So you may be in for a big project. I recommend before you get nose deep in this, find an obscure part of your fridge. Someplace where there's the metal and no one's going to see. Take the buffing wheel in the lightest amount and go on at it for a little bit and make sure you like how the metal looks. If it's a significant change, it'll still be shiny, but it might be a different grade. And you realize, oh, I'm going to have to polish the whole fridge to do this. You may decide it's worth putting up a picture that your kids drew you with a magnet or something rather than trying to regrade your whole fridge cover. So test it first, someplace obscure, make sure you're happy with how it looks when it's being polished. If you're happy, go for it on the spot. If you've gotten a lot of scratches and you want to regrade the whole thing, go for it. But remember, follow the grain, no cross grain buffing, okay? Let's see here, back to our questions. Is OxiClean okay for microfiber rags? So yes, the answer is all oxidizing products are going to, over time, if repeatedly used, sorry, that was this question here. Endless oxidizing is going to degrade fibers, even gentler stuff like OxiClean. So we don't want to use it all the time, but you can if you've stained your microfiber. So I wouldn't use it as the every cycle thing, but if you get microfiber that's gone through the laundry cycle and you're like, it's got stains, you can go ahead and give it a soak in the Oxy, wash it, get back to pretty colors, and then keep using normal detergent. Let's see. This question we actually just answered. Any tips on scratched metal surfaces in front of microwaves and stovetops? Again, that buffing wheel works wonders. The other trick I'll give you that's a little less aggressive, but you'll still love if it's a minor scratch, is Flitz metal polish. Flitz is wonderful. Honestly, another product I ought to own stock in. So Flitz metal polish, absolutely takes out so many bad things you've done to metal. So if you've got any tarnish or rust stains or discolorations from weird chemicals you used or anything dumb you've done to metal, Flitz is wonderful at taking those out and giving you a brilliant shine again. I love Flitz paste. It's amazing. You can use it with a little buff ball or the drill brush too and cover a big area. It does wonderful things. You could also just use a little bit in the rag. Does awesome work. So if you've got very fine scratches and you don't want to do anything too aggressive, that Flitz is a great first fix. But if you've got legit like big scratches you're trying to get rid of, then you got to go all the way up to the buffing wheel. Let's see. Thanks for explaining that. Glad to. Let's see here. Can you use microfiber cloths dry for dusting? I grew up on Pledge spray and a rag. Is this the modern option? Oh my gosh, yes. So I'm going to make a lot of people angry. Pledge is for your own entertainment at this point. Modern polyurethane does not allow oils and conditioners to make it to the wood. All those, Murphy's oil soap and all the old oils and all the old polishes, they're just makeup for furniture. They are not nourishing the wood like everyone talks about. That was true if you had antiques that were waxed finish and it was more porous and allowed the wood to dry out and you wanted those oils to restore it. Now polyurethane blocks moisture from leaving, but it also blocks moisture from absorbing. So all the oils and conditioners are not getting into the wood. All they're doing is making the wood look pretty on the surface because any scratches that are in the polyurethane, you're hiding them by putting oils and waxes and polymers into those scratches and making a new smooth surface. Think of it like foundation for your face, okay? It's not changing what my face actually looks like. I'm just putting a coating on top to make it look like my skin is smoother and more even. That's exactly what Pledge is. It's just makeup for your furniture. As soon as I wash my face, I'm gonna look like me again. And as soon as you wash that table, it's gonna look like itself again. So the polish isn't nourishing or helping anything. It's just smoothing. So if your furniture is in good condition and it is not scratched, you don't need Pledge. Don't bother. It is literally just for your entertainment. A slightly dampened microfiber towel will get off all the dirt, buff off all the residue, and if your wood is naturally smooth because the polyurethane is in good condition, it will shine like a Chrysler all on its own. Shine is just light reflection, okay? If something's flat, all the light hits it and all the light comes off, and that beam hitting your eye, that's shine. If it's uneven and scratched up in a mess, the light hits it and goes off in a zillion different directions, and so less light is coming to your eye and it looks dull, okay? Polish is just there to make it flat again so you get the shine. It doesn't actually fix anything. So if your wood is not in good condition and the finish has been compromised, then you do need polish to hide that. Or I got a trick for you. You're going to love this one. And this is one of the products I love from my repairing of cleaning issues world. Howard Restore Finish. Cannot give this product enough props. Howard Restore Finish will fix every dumb thing you've ever done to wood. So if you have old wood that's looking dull and drab and tired, and if you try to use just, an all-purpose towel on it, you're like, oh, it doesn't look shiny enough. That means the finish has suffered some damage over time and needs to be restored. The Restore Finish product will actually re-smooth the finish, and it will impregnate dye for stain and polymers for the finish to help regrade the finish and help redeposit the stain, bringing that piece back to life. I have seen so many sad, drab pieces of furniture restored beautifully with this product, and so many damaged claims from the cleaning fixed like that with this product. Water stains, overspray, a wet rag left on the dining room table by accident, water cups left on the old antique, and you get those water rings. Howard Restore Finish, buff it in, a little heat, especially a little hair dryer heat if you got those water rings. Buff it in, it steams it all right out, and it smooths that finish and makes it gloriously shiny. You may find that if you use this once in a while, like once every 6 months or so, you can just clean the furniture with a little damp towel in between, or even dry. Slightly damp I like better just because it makes it easier for things that are stuck on to come off. I don't, and you can dry dust with this, but it's going to do a better job if it's just a little damp. Dry that off and buff, and you can dry up with a dry towel afterwards. But again, you'll get a little bit more dirt removal if it's just a little bit damp. And you can take care of the wood with just water. If you enjoy the polish smell, by all means do so because you like the shine, you like that glossy look, but you don't need it. All right, let's see here. I think I'm finally getting towards the end of the questions here. Let's see. Let me show it here. Oh, sorry. We were just saying, yes, we're definitely sending you a question. This is from earlier. Yes, we are definitely sending out product. Thank you for so many great questions. Let's see here. What if you have original wood floors? Does Murphy's Oil soap help? Great question. So if you do have true antique wood floors, then you say original, it depends on the region of the country you're from. Polyurethane's been around a long time. Unless you're working in living in a historic home, most likely your floor is polyurethane by this point, and it may need some sanding and recoating, but it's probably very likely to be polyurethane. At which point, Murphy's Oil Soap is just fiction. It's just washing plastic. Polyurethane is a plastic polymer. You're washing the plastic. It is not getting oils into your wood. That being said, if you do have finish that's worn down and it has not been addressed yet, and there is now bare wood showing or scratches or weathered, wood, yes, Murphy's Oil Soap is now your friend because that wood is drying out. I do have to be careful about damaging the raw wood that's exposed, and the Murphy's Oil Soap will help you. If it's a legitimate antique and it actually is finished with old-fashioned coatings, it's not actually polyurethane, Murphy's Oil Soap will help you because, again, those woods are drying and you do need to replenish them with some moisture. So if you've got legit antiques, you're living in a cool historic homes, I love those. They're awesome. Yes, the Murphy's Oil Soap is your friend, but if it's anything, call it, within this century, most likely it's polyurethane at this point, at which point Murphy's Oil Soap is just, history and fun. And you're going to find a much better result from a basic neutral pH floor cleaner like a Mr. Clean or a Fabuloso or a Bona are going to get you that same beautiful result, and they're going to leave less residue. The one thing I worry about with Murphy's Oil Soap is Murphy's Oil Soap, if you don't absorb the oil into the wood, it just sits in the polyurethane. That's the one reason I give a bad rap to Murphy's Oil Soap is if you need it, it works great. But if you don't need it, it creates a dangerous situation. And I've seen this many a time where people have glorious new polyurethane coated hardwood floors and they use Murphy's Oil Soap because they say, oh, it's for wood. And they're making themselves an ice skating rink because now it's got all these oily residue sitting on that plastic polyurethane and you go, whoop, because there's no place for it to absorb to. So don't use it if you got modern floors. Let's see here. We are well over the hour mark, so I probably should wrap this up, but I do want to make sure I don't leave any big questions behind. So I do have, this is going to be a last question because I do want to wrap this up. I recently bought the electrostatic blue duster from Microfiber Wholesale. What is the best way to clean them out after use? Wonderful question. I'm presuming you mean the blue fluffy duster. I'll double check, make sure. If you are still here, I hope you are. I'm going to show you which dusters and you can tell me which one you got. So this is our fluffy duster. And I just want to get out of the package so you can see how wonderful and fluffy she is. And then we got our chenille microfiber duster. Those are our two dusters depending on your needs. So I just want to make sure you're answering the right question about the right one. But I'll answer about both. So if you're talking the blue fluffy duster, love this guy, so much fun. This one, because it is attached to its wand, cannot go through the washer dryer cycle. Bad day, because it's going to in the machine. So all you got to do is take yourself a big bowl or a bucket or anything you want, throw it in either I find it's easier with a little floor cleaner, so like a little Mr. Clean or Fabuloso. Dunky, 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 and swishy, swishy until you feel like you've got all the dust out. Wring it out. Swishy, swishy, wring it out. Take it out of the sink, rinse it out, wring it out, and shaky, shaky like a dog, shaking himself off until you feel like you got a decent amount of water out, and put it out somewhere to let it hang out to dry. It's going to come back beautifully, okay? And after it's dried a bit, you're going to do more of that shaky, shaky to get it fluffed back up, and it's going to come right back bouncing for you. The chenille duster is designed for washer dryer use. This one is going to be your long hauler because this microfiber sleeve can actually come off. It's got Velcro. I'm not going to do the whole thing right now, but it's got Velcro. It comes off, and you can throw this in the washer and the dryer for hundreds of washes. So if you are grossed out by those old dusters that are like, those lamb's wool dusters or those feather dusters, they're just like people's age-old dust sitting in them because you can't clean them at all. This is the duster for you because you just take the sleeve off, you go ahead and you throw it in the wash, you throw it in the dryer, put it right back on, nice, fresh, and clean. You can use all the settings that we talked about earlier for microfiber. So synthetic settings like permanent press, a little bit of detergent, no fabric softeners, run it through the washer and the dryer, it'll bounce right back for hundreds of washes. So this is the go-to for sort of a long-term situation, especially commercial use, where you don't want to take dust and germ from one person's house to the next person's house. That's where you want to use this guy. But if you're cleaning at home, you want something light and fun to play with, this is going to last quite a while. It just takes a little more hand washing, which isn't practical if you're running like a large organization and you need to hand wash everything. This would be great for a home consumer though, because it still bends and it gets on top of ceiling fans and top of cabinets and top of you if you want to. It's very fun and silly, okay? But it does require hand washing to keep it this fluffy and gorgeous for a nice long time. All right, so that's it. We are going to say this is the end of our first weekly show. It's been a blast. You guys asked so many wonderful questions. I will shamelessly plug one last time, just because I can, that we are offering a Ask an Expert 15% promo code, good for the whole week. So if you share this video after you're done watching, go ahead and share it to your friends, and they can get Ask an Expert 15% off. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, follow us. Come to microfiberwholesale.com's website and spit your email address to get on our emails. I send blogs regularly with all sorts of wonderful cleaning information. I love cleaning. It's my passion. My job is here to help you. So please, you can email me directly even at askanexpert@microfiberwholesale.com. So if you got a cleaning question you just can't wait till next Friday, feel free to shoot me your question beforehand. We're here to serve and sell you wonderful microfiber towels and mops and all of our tools. And most importantly, we're here to help the community and elevate house cleaning. So come check us out, and I hope to see you here next week. Bye, everybody.